Hey guys, Real Deal Fishing here, and welcome back to my humble abode, and welcome to part 2 of my tungsten sinker hack, where I turn this $10 Bass Pro Shops tungsten sinker into this $20 Rains or Picasso tungsten sinker. And I'm going to show you some of the tips that they don't really want you to know, and only the pros know. So stay tuned, I'll show you how to do it. Hey guys, I'm hoping you guys can see this a little bit better. I got you over my shoulder. We're going to kind of do an over-the-shoulder tutorial. But as I said in the intro, if you haven't already done so, check out the part 1 of this video, just to show how little there is a difference between this $10 tungsten and this $20 tungsten sinker, size-wise. You know, we're talking just fractions of a millimeter. But go ahead and check that out before you check out this one. And I highly suggest, if you haven't done so already, stop this video, go to Fluke Master's website. I'll actually put the link below. And he has a episode called Toad Trip Okeechobee Improving Tungsten Sinkers, and he'll show you a pretty good way how to put this insert in this tungsten. And I'm going to also show you that too. I have it a little bit different than he does, but I'm going to show you a little something that he doesn't do that I really feel that you should do. And living here in Florida, I have a flipping stick in my hand every time I go out. So this is something I just found out that will just help you improve that percentage a little bit better. And what it'll really do is, I don't know if you can see this, but this is a $20 Picasso tungsten, and I've used it so much where I've flat wore off all the outside coating to it. And if you look at my box here, I've got others that are the same way. They're just flat wore out. But I'm going to show you how to just turn this silver into this black, and it will never fade. So let's start off. A couple things you're going to need. You're going to need a Bic lighter or any lighter. You're going to need some shrink wrap. This is to go over wires and shrink wrap the connections of the wires. But I will say, take your time and find some good stuff. You know, your local auto parts store will have this, but I suggest going down to your marina, because usually the marinas and your boat stores will carry the same shrink wrap, but the sidewalls of this will be a little bit thicker, and it really does help when that braid line's going back and forth through there. It just lasts a lot longer, and you won't have nearly issues with it coming out or wearing through with that braided line. You're going to need a pair of pliers. You can do it with your fingers, but it gets really hot, and I've had blisters on there, so I'm getting soft in my old age. I'm going to use a pair of pliers. And you need to have a propane torch, and I'll show you where that comes in a second. So, it's 1.5 ounces Bass Pro tungsten, and it's straight out of the package. I had it out one time to do the video earlier, and you know, as you can see, it's almost identical to this this Rains tungsten. It's a little bit, you know, the profile's a little bit different. It's not nearly as sleek, but it's, you know, about the same size, and you know, for $10 difference, you're never going to notice it going through the mat. So let me put this over here. The first step I want to show you is right over here. I'm going to kind of get a close-up shot about what's going on here, because this is really an important step. So what I have here is I have just a big screw locked in my vise here, and the reason why I have that is I want to just kind of rest this sinker onto that screw, because it's going to get extremely hot here in a second. And you know, as you can see, it's super shiny, and you know, you can put a marker to it. You can, you know, I'm not sure, but it's just really shiny. When you have it up against a dark bait, it just contrasts too much, and it really is kind of out of place. So this right here, I'll show you exactly how to make this into a more dull. So what you want to do is you want to get this tungsten nice and hot, and by heating this up, it doesn't necessarily change the profile. It still has the same density, but you're kind of taking all that shininess off the outside, And you're going to see here in a second, you want to heat it up till it's just glowing red. Make sure I don't catch my GoPro on fire. It's going to take a little while. I mean, there's a lot of tungsten in there, but you want to heat this up. Well, you can already start to see it changing the color. It's oxidizing. There we go. Now we're really starting to see color change. And you see it's starting to get red hot now. I mean, it is red hot. So stick with it just a little bit. I always like to just get that thing cherry red hot. Alright, once it's red hot like that, you can see it. It's a dark cherry. Just kind of let it cool down a little bit. And you're going to notice it's going to go, you can already see the difference. It's going to go from that real nice shiny to this more matte color, this matted gray color, and that will never ever wear off. That's going to just, you know, stay there. It's part of the metal. It will never wear off. You know, a lot of these Rains and Picassos, they have a coating on the outside. As you can see, you know, I use them a lot, and they just eventually start wearing off. And what happens is, I know it doesn't look like a lot now, but what happens is the vegetation just starts catching this, and it just doesn't go through the vegetation nearly as smooth and as easy as something that's just completely part of the metal. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a pro tip that a lot of guys don't know about. You know, the Floridians down here that we use the Flip and Six quite a bit, and we get through that heavy cover. You know, a lot of us use this technique just because we go through so many sinkers. We might hook onto, you know, a big fish, or we might get hung up and we break off, and there goes $20 worth of sinkers. So we find little shortcuts here to kind of help ourselves. But as you can see here, that is almost as dark as this. I mean, you know, not much, but it's not nearly as shiny as it was when we first started. And when that bait's gone through the mat, that shininess is out of there, and it really matches up with the bait a whole lot better. And I mean, I'll show you. I mean, when you put a bait on there like that, it's a similar color, and it's not so contrasting. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is step one of this entire turn your tungsten from that to this. So let me move the camera here, and I'll show you the next part. Alright guys, part 2. Alright, so what you didn't see is I took a pair of pliers and I grabbed it off of the nail that I had this on. I went and ran it under some water, and I just cooled it off just so you could hold it, or I can hold it and I can kind of do this second part. You can see it here. It's the same color, or darn near, as this other Rains Picasso, or whichever brand. This other $20 weight. Here's a $20 sinker. Here's the 10, and as you can see, it's now it's nice and dark, and it's part of the metal. It's not going to fade off here, or slough off like this one. So next step is let me move these out of the way. Is get your pliers ready, and this is the part where we're going to put the insert in here. Alright, now the insert is because, they've gotten lots and lots better, but, sometimes during the making of these things, there's just a little tiny burr, or, something inside there that kind of chafes that braided line, and after a while, if you're jigging it up and down, it'll cut through that braid. So we put this insert through here, and you know, basically that just makes a buffer, and you can melt these out, and it just keeps your line from being cut. So first thing you want to do is you want to take your lighter and just get it. It doesn't have to be real hot. You can already start to see it. Grab it with your pliers and just pull on it. And pull on it there. And blow on it. And so what you want to do is you just want to pull on that, and it's still a little warm. The Fluke Master says that he licks it, but wow, that tastes gross. So then you want to take your scissors and you will cut it at a 45. Helps if you have nice sharp scissors. So the next thing you want to do is you want to just put that through there. Oh, Lord. Oh. So the next thing you want to do is you want to put this through there. And the reason why you cut that through as a 45 is so you have some place that you can just easily slide it through there. And here, this is a very, very important step. So you want to grab your pliers and you want to slowly pull this through there. And it usually happens. Now, if you use the thinner automotive stuff, it'll go through there a whole lot better, but I don't know if you can see it. And what I'm looking for is that thicker diameter starting to come out that other end there. So now I've stretched it all the way through there, so that the thin part got through the weight. As we're pulling it, we're actually just condensing this down into fitting the inside diameter of that sinker. So next thing we want to do is we want to nip off this back end and make it nice and straight, because that'll definitely end up catching. And then you want to grab the pliers and you want to just pull it till it's just about the very end there, inside. And then what I like to do is cut this off a pair of scissors, and if you can get a knife, it's actually a little bit better, because I really like it to where it's nice and flush there. The Fluke Master does something that you know, I don't always do, but it just kind of opens up this end here, and he just gets it a little hot. Puts his Hey guys, sorry about that. I'm not exactly sure where I left off there. I was right in the middle of filming, and my wife came home and opened up the garage door, and I got all cattywampus and sidetracked. So where I left off is we put that insert in there. We melted the shrink wrap. We pulled it through there, and the very last thing I like to do is I just like to take some 65-pound braid is usually what I flip with, and I stick it just right through there just to make sure that I'm not going to have any issues out in the water. And but you see it slides freely, and what that does is it just keeps that 65-pound Sufix 832 braid from just chafing, and gives it a little buffer, you know, buffer between the tungsten and your line. So as you can see, this is the $10 Bass Pro Shops sinker. It's got an insert in it. It's completely black, and it will never ever come off. This is the $20 Picasso. You can see that the outside has come off. The insert is it's still in there, so that's still working. But I have the exact same weight for $10 cheaper, and we're talking a fraction of a millimeter difference. So anyway, I want to say thank you very, very much for watching. And my other camera just ran out, but I want to say thank you very, very much for watching YouTube. If you like what you got to see here, please subscribe to my channel. I'll put a few links in the bottom there for Fluke Master and his setup that he's got on for improving his tungsten. And if you haven't already seen my other videos, check them out. And last but not least, before you go, please subscribe. And if you know of anybody who would like to give me a hat to wear out in the water, I would greatly appreciate it. Get in contact with me. So anyway, stay tuned. Thanks again. Have fun in the water. Catch them good.